All right, this is Graybeard. You can tell that. so every time I've tried to make my Loki kind of wrap up video, something or other, life has gotten in the way. Right now, I'm sitting in my wife's car, and so I got to sit a little bit closer. Um, so I want to go down. We made 10 predictions, and out of those 10 predictions, only 10 of them came true. So I thought I'd just hit those really quick. First, that there would be a female Loki. Look, we made these predictions before the show came out. We did see some of the previews, I guess commercials. Now they don't call them commercials; they call them I don't know, something. But something to get you excited about the show, and so we didn't know this. So here's female Loki. Yeah, we're gonna say that happened. Kid Loki. Yeah, that happened. Both the female and Kid Loki would survive. Yeah, that happened. That the end of the show will create the multiverse. Yep. It would be a buddy cop show with Loki and Owen Wilson having some good back and forth, and that happened. Ultimately the TVA would be the bureaucracy of the TVA would be the bad guys. Yeah, I would say that's true. And in all honesty, so far on the three Marvel television shows, all three of them have shown the bureaucracy to be the bad guy. We had Sword and the gentleman from Sword in the WandaVision show, and he definitely was a bad guy. We had the bureaucracy that created the John Walker Captain America, and that was the bad guy. It's more the bureaucracy is the bad guy. So, kind of working with the times, I would say our current government could be considered as not being overly great. That Mobius would end up being a good guy, and yeah, I say he would, and that he'd let Loki go. I guess that's kind of a side thing there, but yeah, he definitely did that. As a matter of fact, he thought he was giving his life for Loki at one point. So, that Kang the Conqueror would appear in the show, and he did. That Ravenna Renslayer would show up, Kang's girlfriend, and she was heavily in the show. And then that ultimately the Loki variant would survive, and that happened. So, my thoughts on the show. Each one of these shows, I kind of know what's going to happen. I've read the comics. I kind of see how they kind of slam a couple things together, but I kind of understand what's going to go on. And each time I make these predictions, I'm pretty sure these things are going to happen. I know I watch other shows where people are making predictions, and about half of them come out. And understand, I have no. Looks like I have some candy or something there. I have no affiliation with anybody. I don't know. I don't have any insider information like some of these shows do. And so I'm just using the comic books and maybe some of the commercials, and kind of looking at them and going, yeah, this is the way they're going. The same thing happened with the other two shows, Wanda and the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Now, I liked WandaVision. I think I kind of liked. I liked less the Falcon and Winter Soldier because I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I just didn't like it as much. On this show, there were some twists and turns that I liked and disliked, but ultimately, I did like this show. I didn't make so I think the last episode I made a video for was episode 4, because when I watched 5, I liked it, but I was disappointed. And I'll tell you, there's some places where I was disappointed with this show. So Loki is the god of mischief. He's also a frost giant. He is not thought of as being a physical power, but he is a physical power. And somebody threw him out the window, some regular guy. And I thought, that's pretty not good. And so I didn't like some of that, where they basically depowered the guy. And I feel like the biggest letdown in the Marvel universe has always been the Incredible Hulk. How they treated the Incredible Hulk, how depowered they've made him, and I've always been kind of disappointed with that. But this is pretty disappointing too. And then episode 5 came out, and it had all these Easter eggs just everywhere, and I wanted to make a video, but I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out why, but I hated that episode. The Thanos copter, cool. The Avengers Tower or Stark Tower, having the Kang name on it, like in the comics, where Kang he is spelled differently, like with a Q or something like this. Now I can't recall. I think it was Qung or something like that, but it was Kang. And that little Easter egg. Well, there's Kang. Why are we hiding this? Renslayer was in the show from the get-go, and I was like, well, there's Kang. Why are people not talking about Kangs in the show? I don't know. I think they were a bit scared because of the whole Morbius whatever debacle. I don't know. Not Morbius. Mephisto. Sorry, Mephisto debacle. But so whatever. Ultimately, I just didn't like that episode. Them walking around, I mean, they did some building, but I don't know. Just didn't like it. I did like some of the stuff, and whatever. And then ultimately, it being Kang at the end of the time, that's kind of cool, and whatever. But I did like the ending. I didn't like how it felt like the characters built, Sylvie built their relationship up, only to, I don't know, throw it all out the window there at the end. Whatever. So it'll be interesting to see how they progress with this. Now, I did say in the first episode, or episode before the first episode, when I did my predictions, I said that this will lead into Spider-Man. It totally leads into Spider-Man. There's definitely I might do a video before Spider-Man comes out, because there's a whole lot there that I can pretty well predict the entire. You know what? I will. I can predict the whole movie. Same thing with the Doctor Strange movie. I can kind of see where that's going to go as well. But I wanted to also throw into this a little bit about What If. So, What If episode 1 has come out, and I didn't make a video. I'm not going to even try to predict What If, and I'll tell you why. What If is honestly my favorite comic book series ever. And every time it would shut down and start up again, every time it shut down, I'd get so upset, because I just love that. I love that comic series. The whole idea of looking back on the past and going, what if? What if this changed? There was one where, what if Wolverine stopped the Infinity War by killing Thanos? In the comics, Thanos just kind of snaps his finger, and Wolverine's bones, instead of being adamantium, turn to like sponge or something, and he just falls apart. And but in the What If one, Wolverine buddies up with the guy, and then when he's let down his guard, he stabs him. and so it was just a great, like, what if, wow, and what that changes. Or just so much, like, what if this happened? What if that happened? And I don't know how many comics. You know what? I'm pulling them out tonight. I could read them all. They're just great, and I'll just do it again. I have read them all, but I mean, I'll do it again. So the What If episode 1 came out, and I like, first off, that. So here's a little thing that'll happen. In the movie, I think the first Avenger movie, actually the movie Captain America: First Avenger, Carter says something about Brian Braddock. Brian Braddock is Captain Britain, and which has a lot to do. Excalibur, the comic book, another really good, I thought, really good comic book. Right around the time when Chris Claremont wrote X-Men, and he had it on before anything. I really liked X-Men, and that really drug me into comics. And there is a biographical movie that's on, I think it's on Amazon Prime, that's about Chris Claremont, and it's just amazing. Like, I can't even imagine this guy. Like, I think I want to say he like just decided one day, hey, I want to write comic books, and somehow his parents or somebody knew Stan Lee and got the guy into comic books. If that isn't bona fides, I don't know what is. I can't imagine this. I mean, I've gotten to meet a couple of comic book writers, but I've never met Chris Claremont. I'd say I met Brad Meltzer. He was a pretty good guy, and he writes official real books now, but when he wrote comic books, and actually he wrote one for Superman recently that was the like the quintessential Superman comic. It was like a little blurb, like 10 pages in I want to say Superman 500 or some crazy thing, or 1,000. I don't know. I know there's a lot of them, but whatever, that big one that had a lot of little different writers write for it, and it was basically how it had very few words, and it showed how Superman was a good guy, but the real hero was a police officer. You have to go read this, but definitely Meltzer's take on Justice League was interesting to me. Definitely the Green Arrow, the best Green Arrow stories I've ever read was through Meltzer. Chris Claremont's very much like that. He his take on the X-Men made the X-Men. The X-Men dropped out of. I mean, I read some of them before Giant Sized, and I liked them, but only because of Giant Sized. Once Giant Sized X-Men came out, they added Wolverine, added just Storm, Nightcrawler, and they had these stories, these backstories that were real. It wasn't just these fake characters. Yeah, they're fake characters all, but you know what I mean. It pulled you into the story a lot better, and each they grew these characters. So Storm wasn't just some African goddess. No, they gave her a whole backstory and built it in the comics so that you understood this character. And they would switch over. Go, okay, well, we understand who Storm is now. Let's go talk to Nightcrawler for a little while. Let's talk about how he's Catholic and he looks like a demon and the devil, but he's not. He's really maybe the heart, the soul of this team, and stuff like that. And here's Wolverine, who on the surface is just some gruff, mean guy, but when you break it down, he's not. He's maybe thousands of years old, at least hundreds of years old, and he's going through phases, and right now he's just tired of life, and he has to be brought back into humanity, basically, from being a soldier. This guy doesn't have PTSD like the rest of us have. He's got hundreds of years of PTSD from the Civil War, from Korea, from just everything. So it's just pretty cool the way they did that. And I'm kind of jumping topics here, but yeah, definitely go see that Chris Claremont biography. So the What If, what I liked about it was, boy, I went off on a tangent there, boys. What I liked about it was they didn't call her Captain Britain, and they did that on purpose. They're bringing Captain Britain into the MCU. Mark my words, it'll be a couple years, but we'll get Captain Britain right around the time we get the X-Men. And that could be, now if it was me, nobody asked me, nobody's going to let me write it, but if I were to write the X-Men into the show, I wouldn't use the MCU's new multiversal way. Instead, I'd use a Sage Perilous. A Sage Perilous has to do with with Roma and with Merlin and all that, and Captain Britain. That's where his realm is basically, and Roma gave the X-Men the ability to basically erase themselves in an emergency, and they do in the comic books, and it's very interesting the way they do. So I would say going forward, that's how I would write that. But definitely going forward, we're going to see Captain Britain, or else they would have called Captain Carter Captain Britain, just like they didn't call they didn't say Captain Rogers, they said Captain America. So it's they gave her the Union Jack, but they didn't call her Captain Britain. I do hope that we see her in live action. I liked the the show. I can't recall what it was called, but I watched every episode. I was very interested in it, and I liked that what's his name came into S.H.I.E.L.D. there for a little while, but I think they did wrong by getting rid of that show. It was a great show, both S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Carter show. But anyway, so I liked the entrance. I liked the way they did it. I like how they, her deciding not to go sit in the back was the precipice for everybody else not sitting in the back, and the explosions and how things changed and how she ended up in the machine. That's kind of cool. Now, that Iron Man's dad then made the Iron Giant. That's what I'm calling it. But the new Iron Man suit, maybe Mark 1 you would call it. And Steve was the one driving it. That's interesting, isn't it? So I think the commercials for the show do show her interacting more with Doctor Strange at one point. So we'll see more of her. The commercials also have like what if T'Challa, instead of becoming the Black Panther, became Star-Lord. I don't know. I saw some like Marvel Zombies. That's cool. I saw some other stuff. So I really like the What If show. I'll do some commercials. I'll do some breakdowns of it. But basically, I just want to do one more and close out Loki and get myself excited for What If. I don't need to be excited. I really love What If. So thanks everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.